What's going on, guys? What's cracking? In the garage today, and I am working on the black car now. So let's finally dive into this. It's going to be mostly about that car today and kind of going over what we're going to do with it. So if you guys saw in previous videos, I've already got it pretty well ripped apart. So the car doesn't have the engine harness anymore. So I've got the intake manifold, engine harness, and everything else off of it as of right now. It's getting a Kaiser Motorsports wiring harness, AIM Infinity, and a complete PHR fuel system. So go back over here. I'm waiting on some parts right now. This is my stuff, but I've already started pinning up the fuel hanger and stuff. So down here we have a Deutsch connector 3-pin. I use this to connect to the actual fuel level sender, right? I do use this, but I remove, you see here, I take out the little rubber piece here because it's not E85 safe. The plastic doesn't care and the pins don't care, but the rubber isn't okay with it. Now down here, I did get PHR to send me these. These are the in-tank pins and connectors. These are what you use to actually crimp onto here, and then you can use these to go in tank. Now, I do it this way so it connects directly to the pump. There's no splicing and stuff here. I know they usually come when you get the kits. It comes with the wire strands. You cut and crimp onto it. I hate that. I absolutely despise it. This is the right way to do it. So cut the wires down. I'm gonna cut it to like right here, pin it directly, and then you can plug your pump directly into it. Just works out better. Now, up above, I am doing things a little bit differently. In the past, I'd always put a 4-pin Deutsch connector up above. Now I've stopped doing that. Now I'm doing everything direct. So I've got these lugs, these solid barrel lugs, lug them on, right? And then I'm gonna pin them direct, and you can see here, I've already got sleeves, and then sleeve over it. Why am I doing that? Well, I know that they have this mil-spec connector here, right? And you can spin it off. But this entire time I was been like, well, in case I wanna take all the wiring out, so remove here, then remove a Deutsch connector, and then I can just pull it down through. But I'm like, wait, well, I can do it with this. And 9 times out of 10, you're never gonna remove all the wiring either. You just need to get the tank out. So why do all that? That's just another failure point, another connector, another bulky area. So I'm like, why do that? Again, a big shout out to my buddy Tony at Stance Agri Media. Be like, dude, you need to do this. So this was on his suggestion. I knew he did it on his car. So big shout out to Tony. This was pretty much his idea. So yeah, and I'm only doing, this is only getting 2 450 pumps. So I'm not going to be using these two here. So I'm going to leave them long. I'm not going to pin them because I'm just going to leave them there until the next person wants to put a third pump. But realistically, in today's market, you can put two 525s in here, and that's good for 1,300 wheel horsepower on 85. I think on race gas, on a naturally aspirated engine, they'll make 900 horsepower, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. So they'll probably make around 1,400 on twin 525s. So yeah, so what I'm doing again next is I'm going to cut these down, and then I'm going to pin these on. So I've got this sitting here waiting on parts to show up. I want to go ahead and get the car up on the lift. Again, this is the original 6-speed car. It's a very nice car. And honestly, as we see here, I can see a tile blow-off valve, but the band being used on it is not correct. So I'm not sure if that's a knockoff or not. As long as it's working, that's all that matters to me, but I don't believe that is a real tile there. This is typical 4-inch eBay intercooler. Again, works for what it is and his needed goals. The car overall is pretty decent. It does have the stock dampener on it. The car is decently clean. Again, it is, you know, nothing crazy. I do like that they attach this so that is not flapping around. That's nice. Yeah, so the V160 is in here. It's obviously a little dirty. Nothing, you know, nothing hurting it. That's probably coming off the engine from years ago. This is the fuel line that they currently have in the car. It's just a rubber Continental line. Again, completely fine. You know, aesthetically, maybe not as pleasing, but this is completely fine. It's not really attached to anything here. I don't like that. It does have a carburetor style fuel filter. I am not okay with that, so we're getting rid of that anyways. And they just zip tied across the side here. Again, nothing wrong with doing it that way. I just want to make sure that's clear so that it runs back up here. This looks like they ran the return through here too. We're going to get rid of all of this. So everything they have here, we're going to get rid of all of it, make it all PHR, make it seamless and clean. I did notice this though. I wasn't sure if Sean might have been aware of this, but that is not a 220 millimeter diff. That is out of something else. That looks just like an Aristo diff, which would be a small. Now that might be or at a GS300. So it would probably be a 3.26 rear end ratio instead of the 3.13, which comes out of the 220. It also has a smaller ring gear and pinion. So it should be fine for his power goals, but I was just wanted to make him aware of that. So car overall is pretty nice though. You can see here it does have some nice sway bars on it. It has some, what suspension you call this? Teen suspension on it. It has upgraded brake lines, which I do like. We are putting new pads and rotors on this car too. Overall is very nice. I did have to put my risers on it because I did not want to mess up the carbon fiber here. I didn't realize how low the carbon fiber was, so I had to get these risers on it. It's only downside when you put these body kits on. So you can see here, plenty of room. I just didn't want to take the chance of crushing that and making one upset customer. Again, I'm just going over all of it, and I think it's decent for what it is. Some people might see dirt and grime. You gotta remember, this car is 30 years old, okay? This wasn't a perfected restoration. You know, it had a swap with a single turbo. You gotta see what I get when I get my cars. I mean, these are older cars. This is how they're going to be. So this isn't, in my opinion, that bad. It does have the original small electric fan that kicks on for the AC. So nothing crazy there. So that's pushed there, mechanical fan. Has resistance, which is good. It means mechanical fan's in good working order. Lip has plenty of bolts on it. Yeah, I think it's all, again, all in all pretty okay. The only thing I'm not sure about is that blow-off valve, but I think it'll be fine. If it's been working so far, it should be good to go. Kind of the same thing over here. This wastegate is a precision wastegate, so cool. We got a precision wastegate. And it looks like, if I can see here, it looks like it is just venting to the atmosphere right now. So I'm gonna have to get that to recirc into a MAC valve. That's something else I need to get for the customer. Make sure that he has proper boost control. So everything else looks good though. So guys, just wanted to show you this too. This is the trunk of the car here. I guess, you know, again, I've said this before in the last video, I'm saying it again. I don't know who did the work, and it could be, you know, the car's 30 years old, who knows? But that's a lot of dynamite. But all the plastics or everything that was in here is gone. It's also, this is what's weird. This is a Targa top car or a sport roof. I know someone will probably try and correct me, but this has the hard top mounts and it's missing the Targa mounts in the back too. So I'm not sure what happened to those. I might try and source this for the gentleman because I know he's going to want to remove the roof. This did have the 12 volt mod. First thing I look for, you can see here, 12 volt mod. So that allows the pump to run. Yeah. So did have a nice crimped on hose here. This is actually pretty well done. Very impressed with this. And they actually keep the factory clamp here. Good. I am going to remove the rest though. So this is going to be gone the whole way down. We're replacing all the lines. The only thing we're going to be keeping here is the electrical, but the hanger, all the pumps, everything that's inside of here, it's going to go. There's no need to keep that stuff. We're going to start new. I want him to be fresh. So there's no chance of like, oh, did we miss this, that, or the other? I'm not taking that chance. So that's all getting removed. He did make, the last person, I'm not sure it was the last person, but someone made like little risers. So it has this hardboard there that sits in here. They put a piece of aluminum here in these risers to keep it stiff. So I was wondering how it worked, and it works pretty well actually. It's not perfect, but hey, it does work. The rest of the car is just mint. Like, I think it's a very, very nice car. So next up, we're going to start removing this. I'm going to find the wires that I need here. There's only 3 wires that we need to cut and use from this, but the rest we're going to unplug. We're not going to use this line. We are going to reuse this one. This is just a vent, and this one here we're going to get rid of altogether. Now, this is where some people, it's 50-50 here. So for this, you can just leave open, or you can put a filter on the end. I personally just leave it open. It's a very small hole. It's already venting, so it's putting pressure out. So in my opinion, it seems kind of senseless. It's literally releasing pressure constantly, right? So it's actually pushing out. It's not letting in. And it's such a minute hole. Again, that's my personal opinion. So we're going to start getting this out and yeah, start prepping it. Up front here, guys, I did want to show you this. Again, this has JDM 440cc injectors. This is definitely not the original engine in this car. This has definitely been swapped over. It's the original non-VVTi engine, but it's not the original engine to this car. It's just no way. I can, unless they decide to put a 440cc injector setup on this, which I highly doubt. This is a high impedance injector versus a low impedance, which comes in the MK4 Supra in the US. 550 versus 440. They did plug this off down here. That is for the coolant, so that's completely fine. Trying to think here. They did do the mod where it actually relieves or removes the dampener that's down below. So they went directly to the rail. So the only thing I gotta do is disconnect there. I've already unconnected everything underneath. I'll disconnect there, remove the hose the whole way to the back, slide it down through, and then same thing with this here. This is your return. Disconnect the return here, and then I'll slide it the whole way back, or pull it down from the top here, then pull the hanger out, and that's it. Nothing crazy, right guys? So just wanted to show you this, so let's get to it. All right, guys, so the whole entire fuel system is out of it now. This is the breather line, so this really goes to the charcoal canister. We get rid of this because it was already cut off anyway, so I went ahead and removed that completely back to the tank, which I'll show you. This is one of the return lines, and then the feed line here. I'm sorry, this was the returns Continental line, this was the feed. The problem I have, this is my fingers here, guys. I mean, look how small this is. This is a carburetor fuel filter. This is way too small for what he had. Did have some nice Red Horse fittings. These are nice crimp fittings here, I believe. These are, it says FPS. So I think that's Fragola, however you say it. So everything's here, it's off. I'm gonna toss this in the trash because you don't keep any of this stuff. So all off, and now you would see underneath here, you can see here we have the fuel lines. The black stuff is on every Supra. I'm not sure what that is, if it's dirt, debris, but mine has it, my wife's has it. I feel like they all have that. But for the most part, the car's clean. And then we'll get the Powerhouse Racing clamps up there, hold this all up once we get the rest of the parts in. All right, guys, now what I'm doing is, this is the part I hate, and I just don't have some of the proper tools. So this is ugly right now, but I got to clean it up then. So look how nasty this is. This is going to be the ECU mount and the, so we moved the igniter down here. This was in the engine bay, we moved down here. Rivet nutting this, I also need to clean up the edges, so I'll take a grinder and smooth everything out, round the edges nice. I took a big grinder and did this. See how ugly that is there? I'll smooth all of this out, and then I have to literally sand this by hand so I can get this into a perfect curve. Then I paint this. And again, I got this idea from actually Tony at Stansager Media to rivet nut instead of just usually putting bolts through it. So some of the holes are ugly, but they're getting a rivet nut. So once you put the rivet nut on, it's nice. And since the Supra has about a ½ inch or so of room when you mount these down, it works out perfect because they're not pressing into the body. But this makes it nice. So if he wants to, when he wants to remove the igniter or do something, right, he could just unbolt it. This makes it a little bit easier for him. I don't think he'll have to ever use it, but it's one of those things, instead of having to take the whole panel out and try to dick around, get to the back of it, you can just unbolt it from the top and then bolt it back in when needed. So right now I'm working with my buddy BB to find a tool. I have the M6 rev nut, but I'm looking for an M5 specific riv nut. I actually have the riv nuts. I don't have the adapter piece to actually rivet nut it to this. So I'm looking for that right now. Just little things. So I'm really, really happy with this. I just want to thank Sean again for allowing me to work on this project. He's been awesome to deal with. He's been awesome in being patient. Getting parts right now really sucks. I've been very fortunate. Robert Delangio over at Real Street and the guys over at Night Run Garage have been helping me a ton getting parts in as fast as I can. Yeah, I've been very, very fortunate. I want to say too, I've had people ask me, am I reselling parts? At this time, no. No, I'm not. If you bring your car here, I will buy the parts for you. I can order everything. You know, I'll send you the invoice for it. I'll take care of it. And I prefer to do it that way. 2 reasons. 1, this is somewhat work for me, right? And I should say somewhat it is. This is the job. So I make money on the back end. You still get a cut in the deal, right? You're still getting a discount on the parts, but I do make some money on the back end. So it makes this a little bit better for me. But I really don't want to be a reseller. That's Real Street. That's Night Run. That's Turn 14, that's all these companies. I just want to buy parts if the car is physically here, I'm making content on it, or I'm working on it as an actual work car. So just want to give that heads up. I've had people message me. I have friends that I will help, but I just don't want to get into that. There's other companies that you guys can go to, have better websites. It just takes me too long. You just get frustrated anyways, and I don't want to do that. But guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully this was a good video. Again, big shout out to Sean for letting me work on this beautiful car. Thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.